For our first story, we have Mike, 45 male, GF's, 44 female, boss, friend showed up to her house unannounced on Valentine's Day with a card and chocolates while I was there. Did I handle this poorly? We were getting ready to go out for the day, the front door was open, and she says, "Oh, X is here, come on in, X." He walks in and hands her a box of chocolates and a card with her name handwritten on it followed by, "Love." I had never met this guy before, but had heard of him since they've been friends for almost 10 years. The whole thing felt surreal. I observed his behavior and he seemed a bit nervous, and she as well. She introduced me to him as her boyfriend. I kept my cool and he stayed much longer than I felt necessary, close to 20 minutes. After he left, we left as well. While in the car I said, "That was weird. What was that all about?" She said, "Oh, that's X, he probably did that for other girls, too." I disagreed, saying that it seemed romantic in nature, and that I felt he was interested in her. She said I was overreacting. I told her I was bothered by the fact that he did not know she had a boyfriend even though she's known him that long, and also that he just stops by without even calling or anything. She got defensive and turned it around on me saying I didn't trust her. We got into a major blowout. Things are on the rocks now. I am not sure if how I should have handled this. It was the most awkward thing I've ever encountered, and upsetting. TL. Dr. girlfriend's boss, friend showed up to her house uninvited, and gave her chocolates in front of me and we got into a major fight. That's the end of our first post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, "As a woman, that would weird me out." Our second commenter says, "You didn't handle it poorly, your feelings are totally valid. That was a weird situation, and her getting defensive instead of reassuring you probably made it worse. You weren't accusing her, just pointing out how inappropriate it was. If she keeps dismissing your feelings instead of talking it through, that's the real issue here." Our third commenter says, "Bro, he showed up, unannounced, on Valentine's Day with chocolates and a handwritten card with love written on it. That is the very definition of hella sus like you said. They both appeared nervous and she never told him she had a boyfriend. How long you guys been together? The fact he stayed 20 minutes despite seeing that the happy couple was about to head out for the holiday says he wasn't happy you were there. Lastly, I don't like her reaction at all. A scene like that plays out in front of you on Valentine's Day and she feels the need to get nasty and defensive? A good girlfriend who was truly innocent would have taken the time to explain and alleviate your fears because she would be aware of how bad that looked. Hope you're not too attached to this girl because it sounds like this relationship is about to finish running its course." For our second story, we have What do I say to my 45 female BF, 44 male, who doesn't seem to realize he's just broken up with me? I've been dating my BF for about a year. When I met him, he had separated from his wife and they were going through a divorce, 8 months after separation. I don't usually date men who are only separated, but we just clicked. One thing I've asked from the beginning is whether or not he wants to have more kids because I'm child-free for medical reasons. He's always said he wasn't bothered either way. The relationship with his children is very strained and they don't like going to see him. Now the divorce is complete. I've warned him that the heel spiral, having had friends go through the same thing, which is usually why I don't date men in this period, but he was adamant he was going to be fine. He isn't, he's totally spiraling. I've suggested that he go back to therapy, but he doesn't want to. I've said not to just have these thoughts and feelings swirling around in his head and to talk if he needs to. He's started talking to me about his feelings and one of them is that he wants to have more kids. Now, he said this in a stream of consciousness in a voice note. I'm on the waiting list for a hysterectomy. He's still texting as normal. How do I confront this? He doesn't really have anyone else to talk to. However, our relationship is basically over in my head now. That's the end of our second post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, "Sounds like you just need to be upfront and honest. Tell him he wants more kids and you can't give that to him. You have broken up with him in your head, not him breaking up with you." Our second commenter says, "Since you've had friends go through divorce, you know that some of the things people say in this major transition are just thoughts, words. It's really important, emo, for people going through divorce to get therapy. You can't assume he realizes the implications of his rantings. You can certainly point it out. If you want kids, that would mean we're incompatible. Not sure if you're just having thoughts or if you're expressing actual intentions. Our third commenter says, aside from all the other issues, did you not think it was a bit strange and off-putting that the man's children have a strained relationship with him and don't like seeing him? Like that for me would be a massive glaring red flag. For our last story, we have, how'd I, 30 female, ask my wife, 28 female, to stop singing in the car? My 30 female wife, 28 female, and I have been together for 4 years, married for 1. For some background on our relationship, it's a little bit of an opposites attract dynamic. My wife is a big ball of sunshine. She is an extrovert from a big, loud Italian family, and I am definitely more of an introvert from a tiny, reserved, Irish family. Normally, this dynamic works great. She always makes me laugh and really brings me out of my shell, and, according to her at least, I help her stay present and truly enjoy the moment instead of having to be constantly on the go. That all being said, one of the times this dynamic is less ideal is when we are driving. My wife absolutely loves to sing in the car, and will often curate playlists so that she can belt all the words to every song. She gets super into it, and it clearly brings her joy to do so, but she just really cannot sing. Now, she is often the first to admit this herself. She knows she's not destined for Broadway, and she totally owns this fact. And it's not like I don't enjoy singing along with her a lot of the time. The problem is that her voice carries like no one I've ever met. I've even joked with her that she has super-powered vocal cords. They overpower any song we are listening to by a mile. Plus, if she doesn't know all the words, she'll start making them up. So, whenever we are in the car, all I will hear is her loudly singing along off-key to every song, and sometimes hearing a bunch of made-up words on top of that. I try to ignore it as best as I can, but I get especially irritated if I like the song and want to actually hear the artist singing it. It's gotten to the point where I will purposefully request songs she doesn't know, so that I can actually enjoy it. I know the solution is most likely to just talk with her about it, but for some reason I am worried that I'll sound like an or hurt her feelings if I tell her not to sing along, or even to lower her voice. The best I've been able to do is joke about it while we were driving once, but naturally she took it as that, just a joke, which is fair. It clearly makes her so happy to jam in the car, and she has been a bit sensitive in the past to me asking her to lower her voice. She was talking on the phone while I was in a meeting, and it was coming through my headphones laugh out loud, but I think she just doesn't register how much her voice actually can carry. I think I'm mostly looking for advice on how to potentially phrase it, or if it's even worth bringing up at all. Thanks so much. Edit. Thanks a million for the feedback, everyone. I appreciate all the different perspectives. It's helped me look at the situation differently and reassess why the singing bothers me. I love my wife to pieces, and I definitely don't want to ever hurt her feelings or interfere with her joy, so I'm glad I asked the question. I especially loved the advice about just asking for breaks now and then, so that I can focus more on the song. Like making it more about my own mood for that moment versus making it an issue about her. Thanks again. That's the end of our last post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, alternate who picks songs, or make 2 playlists for the drives. Playlist 1 is her sing-along songs, playlist 2 is your, I want to hear the music, songs. I would say, I love seeing you so happy singing in the car, but sometimes I need a little quiet time to just listen to the original songs and focus on the road. Can we alternate playlists? One that is fun to sing with, and one to just listen to. Our second commenter says, I think it's fair to ask for a compromise. You can reiterate that your times singing together in the car are something you love and never want to stop, but that it would also be nice sometimes to just experience and enjoy the music. I love to belt it out in the car too, but when songs I absolutely love come on, I really just want to crank it up and let it wash over me, you know? I don't think this is an either-or situation, and I think your best chance for a successful conversation is to frame it that way. ETA. No matter what you do, please do not involve the quality of her singing. That's the one surefire way to cause a hurt you can't fix. She'll never be truly comfortable singing around you again. Our third commenter says, just know, if you say something, you can't unsay it. Imagine future car trips where a song comes on you know she loves and she just sits there in silence cause you told her you don't like hearing her sing. I guarantee you that silence will be 10 times more unbearable for you than her singing. Sometimes we should just put up with annoying things because it brings genuine joy to the people we love most. That's all for today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.